doesn't love a good cookie? Hi, I'm Mary DiSomma, and I've been baking since I've been old enough to hold a rolling pin. This year I published a cookbook called A Gift of Cookies, and today I'm going to share 3 of my favorites. We're going to start with my date bars. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Prepare the pan by cutting 2 pieces of parchment paper and 9 by 14 inch pieces. Then line a 9 by 9 inch pan with the parchment paper in a crisscross manner. The paper should go over the sides of the pan. This will help remove the bars once they're done baking. In a large bowl, combine 1½ cups of rolled oats, 1½ cups of sifted pastry flour, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and a ½ cup of sweetened flake coconut, and a pinch of cinnamon if using. Add the softened butter and mix until crumbly. I like mixing this with my hands. It's the perfect consistency. I'm going to set this aside. Now for the filling. In a small sauce pot, we're going to add 3/4 pounds of pitted dates, a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and a cup of water. We're going to put it on medium heat, and we're going to stir it until it gets nice and thick. When the date mixture is the right consistency, we're going to add a tablespoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of lemon juice. Remove from heat. Now for the fun part, we're going to press half the dough into our pan. Gently press the dough to cover the pan. Bake the oat crust for 5 to 7 minutes. Spread filling over base. Scatter the remaining oat dough over the filling. Gently pat the crumbs into the filling. Bake for 20 to 25 minutes until the top is lightly brown and toasted. Once it's cooled completely, use the parchment paper to lift the bars out of the pan. Then cut into bars. When you're ready to serve, sprinkle with powdered sugar or powdered coconut milk. When I'm ready to serve, sometimes I like to place them in some pretty little cookie liners. And they taste even better than they look. Cherry pistachio biscotti are a family favorite at Christmas time. The green in the pistachios and the red in the dried cherries not only make them festive, but delicious as well. Preheat the oven to 300 degrees. In a large bowl, combine a 1/4 cup of olive oil and 3/4 cup of sugar until well blended. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of orange or lemon zest, and mix well to combine. Add 2 large eggs, one at a time, beating well after each addition. In a separate bowl, you're going to combine 1 3/4 cup of flour, ½ teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking powder. Gradually add the flour mixture to the olive oil mixture. Mix until flour is incorporated. Fold in a ½ cup of dried cherries or cranberries and 1 cup unsalted shelled pistachios. Place dough on a lightly floured work surface. Divide the dough in half. Form dough into 2 logs that are 2 inches wide by 12 inches long. The dough will be sticky. Place the logs in the center of a parchment-lined cookie sheet. Bake the logs for 35 minutes or until the tops are golden brown. Remove from the oven and let cool for 10 minutes. Reduce the oven temperature to 275. Transfer the cooled logs to a cutting board. Using a serrated knife at a 45-degree angle, cut the biscotti into ½ inch slices. Place the slices cut side down on the cookie sheet. Return the biscottis back to the oven. Bake 4 minutes aside. Transfer the biscotti to a cooling rack. To make the glaze, melt 10 ounces of white chocolate and 2 teaspoons of shortening in a double boiler or in a heat-proof bowl placed over a pot of simmering water. Stir until smooth, remove from heat. When slightly cooled but still liquid, dunk cookies into the melted chocolate. Place on a cooling rack and sprinkle with colored sugar or finely chopped pistachios. I love to showcase my biscottis on a pretty platter. My Christmas checkerboard cookies are perfect for a holiday cookie swap. They're festive, colorful, and delicious. Let's make the dough. I like to use my stand mixer, but you can use a handheld mixer as well. Cream together 1 cup of butter with 1½ cups of confectioner sugar until light and fluffy. Beat in 1 egg and 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. Then on low speed, gradually add 3/4 cups of flour until blended. We are going to divide the dough in quarters. The second step is we're now going to add the flavorings. Need 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder and 1 tablespoon of chocolate sprinkles, a teaspoon of Kahlua, into 1/4 of the dough. And the second quarter, we'll put 3 drops of green food coloring and 1 tablespoon of pistachio paste or finely chopped pistachios. Now we're going to add 6 chopped maraschino cherries and 3 or 4 drops of red food coloring into the third quarter of the dough. We're in the final quarter. We're going to add a teaspoon of orange zest and a few drops of orange extract. Divide each dough in half and roll out into an 8-inch log. Use hands to square up the sides. You will have 8 pieces total. Place an orange and red log side by side, top with a green and chocolate log. Press firmly together to adhere. I use my hands to again square off the dough sides. Repeat with the remaining 4 logs and wrap each log in wax paper and refrigerate until firm, about 6 hours. Now we're ready to slice and bake. Bake for 7 to 9 minutes or until firm and lightly browned on the bottom. I let the cookies rest on the cookie sheet for 5 minutes before transferring them to a wire rack. Once the cookies are cooled, I decorate them with pipe icing to resemble gift wrap, ribbon, and a bow. Happy holidays from my house to yours. Bon appetit.